Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 9s to the Sky, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive into Applied Energistics 2. Oh boy. Well, right now my only storage option is the RF Tools storage scanner, which is basically using a bunch of gold chests. So yeah, we gotta do a big upgrade. For starters, I guess you can just go ahead and make some of the required items, those being the charger and the inscribers. I made a couple extra inscribers. And basically, the first thing you gotta go through is getting your hands on the presses. Now, I made one of these, but I think we need all of them. So might as well just do them real quick. Now, basically, the first thing you need to know is that since we're on basically the sky, there's no meteors around, right? There's no land, no meteors have fallen anywhere, and yes, that's the start of the new base. So we gotta go ahead and check the new recipe for these bad boys, and this is it. You're basically gonna use the inscriber itself to just press down a bunch of materials into the things that you need. So if you just toss the things into here, you're gonna start getting your presses really easily. Then we get to move into one of the most important parts of the applied energistics area, and that is flukes. Without flukes, we don't get anything. But as always, there's something that I'm missing, and of course it is a decent supply of quartz, you know, because I completely forgot I had the sieved sand. So let's fix that. Okay, quartz automation is now complete. A little bit slow, but that's what we're gonna have to work with for now. So to get our hands on some flux, all we need is a pool of water and throw in charged surface quartz, regular quartz, and redstone, and boom. We got ourselves a lot of flux. And I'm also stockpiling on the printed circuits as well. And a couple of quests later, we now have our crafting terminal, the controller, the ME drive, and an ME chest because they make one of these. But now we need to make drives, which means we need to make a bunch of these storage components. And then these guys, like the 1K, can go to 4, 5, not 5, I guess. It just multiplies. You go for 4, 16, 64, 256, and then you also have the 1 mega or 16, 64, and then 256 mega. This is a pretty big one. And does it even go higher than this? Possibly. No. Okay, so that's the biggest one. So we should hopefully, if we get one of these, we should never have to worry about storage anymore. So made it all the way up to a 256K ME disk drive. And why a disk drive and not the regular cells? Well, because a disk drive does not have an item limit. As is for any of the item cells, if you take a look at the storage ones, they do have a limit of 60 types. Now, I'm not sure if the mega ones, yeah, the mega ones also have the 63 types, and I don't really want to have to deal with that, so we're just going to be using the regular disk drive. That gives us a 256K space, which is a lot of space. But now that we have that, it's time to set up some autocrafting. So to start us off right here, I made this, and these are the pattern providers and the molecular assemblers. Now, what do these guys do? Well, they allow us to autocraft some things, and this is gonna get crazy the more we do. First of all, let's try and make this a little bit better looking. Yeah, there we go. So this is our terminal right here. We do not have any items in here because we have not yet given any items to our storage. But if we do here the pattern encoding terminal, we can now start making us some patterns. Now, for example, take a log, and if we teach our system that a log equals 4 spruce planks, if we then give the system itself some wood planks, we can then put one of these pattern providers to learn this recipe right here, and it will now know that if we have that, we can technically craft this. Now, there's something we're missing, And yes, it's the crafting CPUs. There's no crafting CPUs because this is a computer. So we need to give it RAM and processing power in order for it to actually do anything. So with this little recipe, with a crafting unit and then any type of storage component that you have, you'll get a crafting storage. And then I think we can even make ourselves a monitor if we really want to. Take something like it. Then it's just preference basically. I like to have this because it really helps out getting things. And why do I not? Oh, I ran out of monitors, I guess. It really helps you with monitoring what's actually going on in your system sometimes. So that's one of the reasons why I always tend to have one of these crafting monitors with me. And then all you need to do is then you need to link it up to your system like so. And then you can see it completely changed the appearance. This is basically a block that automatically builds itself, I guess you can call it that, if it's on the right shape. And the right shape means that it has to be not a pair, not even or not even or uneven, but it needs to be like, for example, if I had, it needs to be just like a rectangular shape. Got it. It was so hard to say rectangle. I don't know why. Basically, if you had one of these blocks sticking out to the side, this would not form itself. It needs to be a full rectangular shape in order for it to actually be working. So I guess the best thing you could do is just make a pillar out of it, and you can make several pillars, and boom, you got your own crafting storage. And then if we now go here and tell, well, craft me 4 wood planks, well, it can actually now craft those planks for us. So we now have automation. But now that we covered the basics of auto crafting, we now need to dive deeper and then go into some channels. Now, what are channels? Basically, if you took a look at your main controller, it will tell you that right now it's using 9 channels. Now, each controller has its own limit, which means that this guy at some point will stop accepting extra machines and stuff like that, which is very, very bad for us because this mod requires a lot of connections, like a lot of connections, which means we need to somehow increase the amount of channels that it can hold. And how can we do that? By making the controller bigger. So instead of having one controller, I'm just gonna have a bunch of controllers. Now, what is this? Well, basically this is how you build or expand your controller into allowing you to have tons and tons more channels, because now each and every single one of these, I think, can hold up to 32 channels, which is pretty good. Now, bear in mind there is some intricacies of how you can build this expansion. For example, if you give it power and you see it glowing purple, then all you did was good and it's actually working as intended. But if we go ahead and, for example, let's break this guy for now. And if you were to, I don't know, put this block here, I can land, there you go, block here, and it should not be working. Well, I guess that one still technically works. I'm sorry. I meant to put it here. That one also worked. Did they patch this? Did they fix it? This is working. Okay. I mean, that's not that's not bad actually. Yeah, but basically, if something was to go wrong, then it would just turn red. And it's not turning red, which means that it's actually still functional. Huh. The more you know. Oh, there we go. Now it blocked. Okay, now you can't do whatever you want. Okay, I guess the maximum connections is now been increased to 4. So, for example, this cube is a connection upwards, left, and right. and I guess you can give it another one. So it would have 4 connections, but then if you give it a 5th, then that's wrong. It just doesn't work. Okay, so I thought it was 3, only 3 connections. Now apparently it's 4. So it's actually even better. Like, for example, you could just put a streak right down the middle of these areas if you want to, and you would get more channels. But the thing is, with what I want to accomplish with this, then I don't want to do that. So for example, let's just go ahead and do a quick show off of the patterns. I want to make a lot of these Kiwi bricks, and I don't want to make them by hand. We'll just stitch it to the pattern provider, and then we can just tell them to craft as many as we need. And if we go here, we can even see it crafting the cubes itself. But if we go to the controller, you can check what item it's currently doing, the time, what resources it's using, and all those cool things. And I need that because I'm also expanding, so we can then work on that guy. Yeah, let us not gloss over the fact that I also did a little bit of a mob farm over here, which is a pretty simple design. You just grab yourself 25 pieces of dirt, and then what you want to do is you want to make yourself dreadful dirt. How do you make dreadful dirt? Well, all you need to do is get yourself a rotten egg. How do you get a rotten egg? You need a chicken feed that's made out of these ingredients. You need the chicken feed curse. Then you just give this to a chicken, and it's gonna give you rotten egg. You put it on a 5x5 area of dirt, and it's gonna give you dreadful dirt. Pretty easy, pretty simple. And now that dreadful dirt is gonna keep spawning mobs, and then we have a mob grinder that's just gonna be powered with a lever underneath. And I have him with 10 upgrades of sharpness, so it technically has sharpness N, I guess? I don't know. It basically insta kills anything that pops by, as you can see. Of course, some of these may look a little bit bugged. And the Enderman, you need an Ender inhibitor, so they cannot teleport away from there. And then we have a absorption hopper, which is picking up the items, the experience as well, even though it's completely filled with experience. And then it's putting the items into this storage controller that puts it into the drawers, and boom, we got a lot of items. But of course, this being a mob farm, there's items you don't want. For example, that sword. I got a couple of them in my inventory right here. So what do you do when you have, well, said items? Well, you can put a trash can. And if you use the pipes mod, you have, from the diamond and netherite versions, you can actually have filters in here. And you can see I have a bunch of items in here. And all I really need to do is just put a sword in here. But as you can see, it says it has 2 tags. So all you gotta do is you're gonna edit, and then you're gonna delete every single thing that's on this line. And now any iron sword will be deleted. As you see, there's no iron sword there. Put that one there, boom, iron sword's gone. Gonna do the same for these ones, and I don't really have to worry about getting those drops further. But how do we turn this guy into more channels? Well, we have P2P tunnels. Now, I'm not gonna go very in depth into these because these guys can be very complicated. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna divide each side of a cube, I'd say, in 2. For example, if we start from the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and place these tunnels in here. I'm gonna leave that one open for now, because then we can repeat the same one inverted. And let's say we have this side. We put these guys together. And basically what we have is 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. So we have a total of 32 times 8, which I'm not gonna do the math right now. But you got all of that in access, I should say, through here. Through this single cable down here. Now that is very, very good. Very, very good. But of course, we need to probably split it even more. And how can we gonna do this? Well, I'm just gonna bring this out with dense cables, and then I'm probably going to be attaching this into another controller so it can handle all the information that it needs from these guys. Do it like that. Of course, this guy needs some power, which thankfully we do have the flux points. So I'm just gonna go ahead and link it to my network, and boom, this guy should be ready to go. and it's now collecting the information of these 8 different channels. And why 8? It's 8 and only 8 because the normal cables can only handle 8. They cannot handle any more. They're only able to manage 8 channels at a time. So if I was to put another P2P tunnel here and link this cable will not go online. You can see it says that it's missing a channel. This guy is online, unlinked. This guy is device missing a channel. So that one would not work. Now, of course, there's ways to just do the other sides without having to worry about this. And how do you do that? Well, you gotta go into covered cables. If I had like a red cable here, for example, if I check this out, yeah, if I had a red cable here, then this cable would not connect with the regular one. And then you would just be able to make another area. And then you can do that for all the sides. You can even do that on the inside if you want to. And on the insides of here and there, like there's a lot of possibilities with the faces that you have from the cubes. But basically all you need to know is that I'm now extracting the information of 8 cubes into this one technically. But they do not work magically. You gotta give them memory cards. You need a memory card to remember which side of the faces are you actually linking to. Which means that, for example, if we were to bring this guy upstairs, and we were to just, let's say we could temporarily place it down here, for example, we were not able to, I mean, if we do this, we have it linked, we have it online, but it's linked to this guy. It's not actually linked to the brain. So for example, if this brain is connected to this driver over here, these drivers, to this ME drive, then this guy would not be able to get the information from there because it's only connected to this one here. So what do you have to do? You have to use the P2P tunnels. So the easiest way for us to do this right now would be grab another P2P tunnel, link it like so, and link this guy right there. As always, it says it's offline now because it doesn't recognize which one of these faces it has to link to. So all you have to do is, for example, shift right click that face and you go here and you right click this one. And now it says device online, and you can even see that it's now carrying one channel right here. So it's this information, which means this crafting monitor and this crafting storage is now linked to that brain over there. And there's thunderstorm coming. Oh no. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, in order to use the cables to actually see the channels, you have to use smart cables. Smart cables are made with flux covered cables and adding glowstone and redstone. And to make the flux ones, all you gotta do is you just put the regular flux, the basic ones, with some wool. That's why I have some shears on me, and I keep getting white wool from my sheep all the way over there. But actually, these do have EMC, so I may just set up some EMC to actually get this easily. So after linking all the other P2P tunnels, this is what we have. As you can see, we have our drives all the way over here, where we can just make more and keep putting in some more drives. We have our little bit of a brain here. Of course, this guy can be upgraded, will be upgraded, and I need more. And then we have our assemblers or pattern providers right here, where they are going to be making our stuffs. Well, this is all fine and dandy, but of course, I don't have a lot of resources here. It's all in those chests at the house. So I'm just going to sit here, clicking the items into my inventory, and then just putting it all into our system right here. And now I also brought the inscribers from down there all the way up here, and now they're actually linked to the system, and I gave them some pattern providers, and now I have all of these guys knowing exactly how to make each one of the processed patterns. And these guys, I upgraded them to extended inscribers. These guys actually have 4 different crafting slots,
So you can give them technically more than one recipe if you want to, but that can mix a lot of things and make your machines have weird inputs and outputs of stuff. So kind of safeguarded myself by only allowing like for the Certus quartz here, and the gold, and the diamond, and then the silicon. Even though that in this case specifically, that's not that much of an issue. In this one, it may be, because this one, I want him to be making these patterns. And if I give them all three, he can then mix and match some items, and then he will get stuck with items on the inside. But there's actually a workaround here, and that is to limit this to a stack of 1, which means whenever it's going to input something, it's only going to be the 1 1 1, and you will never have like weird cases where you have like 1 6 4 or something like that because of mistimed inputs. In this case, you know that for sure that everything that gets inputted into here will work. And then you can also just toggle auto export, and the items will be then sent back to your system. Now there's a little bit of an issue here, and you guys can see that there's this cable right here, and this one doesn't have the cable right here. Why? I don't know exactly what's causing this, but this guy is offline. He has no power. He's not technically linked to the system for some weird reason. But if we go ahead and grab some cables right here, we can then just do this, do that. This is not even going to consume a channel, but now you can see it says device online. Now it does have power. Why is that? I'm not sure, but it's working. But now with this, we are kind of in a good spot to then go crazy. I made another 256k crafting storage, and then I gave it co-processing units. These co-processing units make it so that it can handle like multiple recipes at a time. This one in particular gives it one extra recipe, so if it needs to craft like 2 items, it will craft those 2 items without having that much of an issue. And I also upgraded these ones into extended pattern providers, so it would handle a lot more recipes in each of these blocks. And I made acceleration cards to make these guys work even faster. But then, of course, if I keep expanding this without giving that much of a thought, it's gonna go sideways really fast, because I do not have the power to run all these machineries like full speed with all the top-notch upgrades and all those things. That just consumes a lot of power, which means we need to look into a better power situation than just keep adding biogenerators. Now, we could keep adding biogenerators, but they make a lot of noise, and I want something better. And well, we got power. That's an option. But why don't you guys tell me down below what you think I should be doing for mid-game to end-game power. So, with all that said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't, and see ya in the next one. Bye!